Everybody, I'm Simon, I'm an alcoholic. And, it's a big crowd out there. There's enough people in here to make a movie. But anyway, my sobriety date is 7/10/2001. My home group is the Hamlet group, and we have 4 meetings. We have open discussion meetings on the 1st and the 3rd. And on the 2nd and the 4th weeks of the month, we have speaker meetings. Man, you get nervous when you get up there. Look at all the people. Some of y'all stay home. God. Anyway, I'm going to tell a joke, couple. I can't, not as good as Rick, but I'm going to tell some. I got to. Rick is that's a pretty heavy task to kind of follow. Rick can stand up here and tell jokes for the whole hour, I'll tell you. But anyway, late one afternoon, this lady, she was sitting on the porch waiting on her mom and daddy to come home. And it was getting kind of dark, but she really wasn't all that concerned because her mom and daddy, they drank and drugged, and they came home all times of the nights and mornings and anyway. But this day here, she got a real funny feeling, a real eerie feeling. She got to turn around, and a policeman pulled up. And he came, he identified himself, and she identified herself. He told her, ma'am, I hate to tell you, but your mom and your daddy, both of them say they got killed. Say they was going around the canyon, call would turn, and both of them, they dead. She said, oh my God, both of my parents are dead. I said, yeah. She thought about it. She said, the monkey. Did you see the monkey? And the patrolman looked at her, he said, man, wasn't no monkey out there. Say, I've been out there investigating for about an hour. Said, if he was out there, I would have seen him. She looked at him and said, sir, if my mom and daddy is out there, that monkey's out there somewhere. So he said, well, ma'am, I'll go back out there and look again, but I ain't see no monkey. So he went out there, the monkey was hiding behind the tree. He said, call back to the station. Yes, tell that lady to come down here. So I got him. So he kind of dazed, say, she might be able to get something out of him and she might not. So she met the officer and the monkey down there at the patrol station. She walked in there and she looked at that monkey. She said, monkey, my mom and daddy, both of them dead, and I want you to tell me the truth, what happened to them. She looked at the monkey. The monkey said, what was my mama doing right before that call returned? She got killed. Old monkey said, she was drinking, she passed out. Old monkey said, yeah. He said, what was daddy doing? He said, daddy was smoking weed, drinking, and cussing. She looked at that monkey. She said, monkey, I want you to tell me the truth. What were you doing right before that call returned? Both my mom and daddy got killed. Old monkey said, I was driving. So, these 3 guys that go in a bar and order drinking. Bartender serves them and gives all of them a glass drink. And the first guy, he looks at the drink and a fly in it. He took it, threw it out. The second guy, he looked at his drink, had a fly in it. He told the bartender to give him another glass. Third guy, he was an alcoholic. He took that fly and said, spit it out! But anyway, like I say, my sobriety date is 7/10/2001. And I'll be forever grateful for that day. Because the decision that I made that day, I have no doubt it's some things I'm going to tell you, and one of them I'm going to tell you right now. If I wouldn't have quit drinking in 2001, I would have been dead. I don't even have to guess that I ought to be dead because a lot of guys that I drank with, some of them older and some of them younger, they're dead, and what would make me any difference? But anyway, I took my first drink of alcohol when I was 12 years old. 12 years old. I took it with my brother, he was 10, and another 12-year-old. And I remember it as if it was today. It was on a Saturday afternoon. I left home one afternoon, walking, and I got a little piece and I met my brother. He was 10. He said, where you getting ready to go, Sam? I said, I'm ready to go get me a quart of beer. He said, you can't get no beer, man. So you ain't old enough. I told him, come on, man, just come go with me. So we walked a little further. Another 12-year-old guy, he came with it. He said, where y'all getting ready to go? I said, we're getting ready to go get us a quart of beer. He said, man, we ain't old enough to buy beer. I said, just come on. I said, I got a plan. So I know that we had a neighborhood store called Philip Grocery, and there used to be always a guy there. His name was Buster. Buster came from a real good family. Buster was he was a wino. Really, he was. He was an alcoholic, but his drug choice was wine. And he would always be out there, and I knew if we got down there, Buster, as soon as we got out there, I said, look, they go Buster out there. Buster had a heavy voice. Buster said, what you boys want? Buster, we want a quart of beer, a piece. He said, give me some money for some wine. So we gave Buster enough money to get him a pint of wine, and he bought us a quart of beer. My brother and the other 12-year-old guy, they got country club, and I got Colt 45. I can remember. Took the top off of that Colt 45, and back during then, the refrigerant that they used, I think it kept stuff colder than what they use now. And that good cold beer, boy, that done it for me. I've heard people stand up here and say they didn't like it the first time they consumed alcohol. That did it for me because I was kind of shy, kind of not really withdrawn, but I was real shy. And by the time I got through drinking about half, a quarter of that beer, man, I was shy. I didn't think I was ugly no more. I thought I was rich. I thought everything, man. That alcohol did for me exactly what I wanted it to do. Really. It changed my personality. And a lot of times, it changes for the worse. Because people that know me even now, they used to tell me, they used to say, man, alcohol ain't made for everybody to drink. The old man told me really it's alcohol wasn't made to drink, so it was made to sell. That's what he told me. I don't know. But anyway, some people just shouldn't drink. I was one of them. Because it made me mad, wanted to fight. I'd come in here, all these people in here, be about half drunk, I'd pick somebody to fight. It just made me, I got about half drunk, I was going to fight. I mean, I'm just going to be honest with you. But anyway, and so I was 12. We was living in East Hamlet. For the first, from 12 to 14, I only drank like beer. But then we moved from East Hamlet to South Hamlet in the housing authority. And what I meant to tell you is, I am the third oldest of 6 children. I have 2 sisters that's older than I am. I have 2 brothers and a sister that's younger than me. And we moved from East Hamlet to South Hamlet in the housing authority. And after we moved down there, so let me go back. Right after I started drinking, I started hooking school. I think immediately after I started drinking, I started hooking school. And something else I need to tell y'all. I had already planned that I'll never, ever would have to stand before people like y'all. Because my granddaddy was a chronic alcoholic. I can say this, he did. Alcohol killed him. And my granddaddy, he worked 1.5 days every week. And the other days, he was trying to get over being drunk. And I used to look at him. He used to come home. Sometimes people be done fought him and be done took his little money he made for that day and a half. Be done pooped in his clothes. Be done urinated in his clothes. I said, I ain't gonna never do that. I said, I told my grandmama, I said, Grandmama, you ain't got to worry about me messing with that stuff there. And she told me, she said, boy, you look just like your granddaddy. She said, she called him Ike. She said, I sure hope you don't start getting drinking like Isaac did. Lo and behold, by the time I got 15, I was wide open. Then I had started drinking liquor when I turned 14. We moved in the housing authority. We moved beside our neighbors. They was Page, their last name. It was about 7 boys. And they had 2 of them was close to my age. One of them was a year younger than me. Then they had another one maybe like about 3 years or 4 years younger than me. Well, of course, I gravitated to the older one. His name was Booger. That joker taught me everything. That joker taught me how to hook school. I had already started hooking school. He taught me how to hook school. When they called, pick up the phone, tell them, act like I was my mama, everything. He taught me how to write the note, everything. Because he was about 4 years older than me, and he was rough. And so after that, me and him, we started on Friday. It was me and him and 2 other guys. We would get a pint of Bacardi rum, a piece. He and I would drink a half a pint, and the other 2 guys would drink a half a pint. And my first bout with trying to drink alcohol, it was kind of rough. I mean, straight hard liquor. It was, I don't know. They say I had like a sick stomach or something, but that liquor would hit my stomach and feel like it was on fire. But and that's why in reading the big book, everything that the big book says about alcoholics, I understand that because I did everything but move to stop drinking. I would not drink on Fridays, just drink beer on Fridays, drink brown liquor. I stopped drinking brown liquor, started drinking light liquor. But all of it was non-involved because every time I drank, it was problems. And I got a wife and 2 children, little small children at that time, and I raised sand, and the police coming to the house and carrying on. And one night, and something else that I'm getting ready to say, and I apologize to all the women. When I used to get drunk sometime, I used to physically and verbally abuse my wife. And for that, I'm sorry. I apologize. Every time I speak and I say that, I apologize to all the women out there for that. But if I never apologize in my life, my son told me something when he was 4 years old, and I'll never forget it. It almost brought tears to my eyes. My daughter and my son, they are 2.5 years apart in age. And my daughter, she was already in school, so my son and I, we was home. I babysitted because I worked on the railroad, and a lot of times I didn't go to work. I could just about keep him, and if I got my call to go to work, I could take him to the babysitter over to my mama's house. But anyway, this particular morning, I got up to fix him some breakfast, and he was a little boy, about 4 years old. He was pulling my pants like every day. He said, "Daddy." I said, "Well," he said, "I don't like you." He was 4 years old. He said, "I don't like you, Daddy." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Because you hit my mom." And even when I think about that now, it really hurts me to my soul, the core of my soul, it does. Because he was 4 years old. And then in saying that, he also said, I thought about it, I said, "Son, what would I have to do for you to like me again?" He said, "Don't hit my mama again." He was 4 years old, you know. So I figured that if that boy would have been 15 instead of 4, probably been some problems, you know. But anyway, I ended up going to court. And I think a lot of things I've done under the influence of alcohol, I wouldn't, you couldn't make me do it so. You couldn't make, when I drank, I was easily influenced to do stuff. Because like I said, when I got about half drunk, man, I had all the courage in the world. You know, I fighting, and I think especially on something like if I seen somebody in the grocery store on Monday and they looked at me the wrong way, I got about half drunk Friday and seen them Friday, we were going to have to talk about it. You know, liquor, you know, I mean, really. You know, but now I don't live my life like that now. I really don't. In 2001, when I got sober, I stayed sober for about 5 years. I didn't go to AA, no meetings or no nothing. I hadn't did anything, didn't know anything about this program. I have a brother that's in, my younger brother was in this program, the one I took that first drink with. And I became real depressed, like suicidal. Like I didn't want to live, and I was scared to die. That's no way for a human to live. And I would get up in the morning, and I had been sober, and what was so rough was I had always heard just people talking like when you quit drinking, your life gets better. It gets better. And here I am, been sober for 5 years and contemplate killing myself. But this is what the deal is though. I didn't have any of these tools. I didn't have no tools at all. I hadn't been to an AA meeting or anything. So what I done, my brother lives in Raleigh. I called my brother. He has he just celebrated his 25th sobriety anniversary. I called him. I told him I was crying and I was upset. And I told him, he said, "Well, man, look, I'll come down there and I'll get you." He said he was in corporate sales then, so his hours were real flexible. He said, "I got to go and talk to some people, and then I'll come down there and pick you up." Well, he came to Rockingham, and he picked me up. And from Rockingham, when we got about to Aberdeen, I had both of them just boo-hooing. He couldn't even drive. He was crying better than I was. But anyway, we got to to Raleigh. And among all that other stuff I had, being depressed and all that, I had an anxiety attack. And so I had all that going against me. So what, he said, "Look, man," he said, "look, I tell you, you can stay up here as long as you can, I want to, man." He said, I'll do anything I can to help you. So he started taking me to AA meetings. And it never dawned on me. Y'all may not believe it. It never dawned on me that I was an alcoholic. Because I didn't fit the profile of an alcoholic. To me, an alcoholic was a guy that, just like that guy that bought that beer for us, that stood beside the store, didn't shave, didn't bathe, he slept, he ate out of trash cans and everything. I had a house, I had my family, I had a lot going for me. I thought so. Being an alcoholic was the further thing for my mind. And when we stopped crying, me and my brother in Aberdeen, he told me, he looked at me, he said, "Sammy, have you ever thought maybe you might be an alcoholic?" And I looked at him and I said, "No." He said, "Look, man, I'll tell you what." He said, "I'll do anything I can to help you, man." He said, "Look, we're going to go up here. We're going to go to some meetings." I stayed up there for about 5 days. And we started going to meetings. And I noticed that the first AA meeting that I went to for myself, people was in there, not like this group, not this many people, but everybody like they was like friendly and like, did nobody like have no chips on the shoulders and like, they was willing to help each other and like, they just had a lot of compassion for each other and everything. I said, "Well, dang, them people like that, maybe this might be for me. It just might be." But anyway, I stayed in Raleigh for about 4 days. And I went to meetings. He got me used to going to meetings. And he brought me back home, I think on I forgot what day it was. But anyway, he said, "Now look, start going to meetings." So I procrastinated for about 3 or 4 days. He would call me every day. He said, "Have you went to a meeting yet?" I said, "No, man." I said, "But I'm going though." But the first meeting I went to was at the old AA building on Airport Road. And I can remember, I called one of my buddies, he's over there right now, Mike B. And I think he was that first meeting. It might have been at the Collins. But anyway, I went to that meeting. And after I got over the procrastination and started going to meetings, I had been in AA maybe like for about 6 days. And I had started feeling kind of a lot better. I had started back to smile. I hadn't smiled in a while because I was depressed and I was unhappy and I was contemplating killing myself. And I started going to meetings. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I didn't come here to do no work. I didn't come here to do no work at all. I wanted to get better, but I wanted to get better at the expense of other people doing stuff. I had been in AA for about a month. And on the Sunday meeting, I popped up in there and we had a little short woman. She ain't around, her name was Penny. But Penny would get all in your face. And I was sitting down over there. I hadn't read nothing. I hadn't did anything. She came over there and she handed me the promises. She said, "Sam, you're going to read the promises." And I didn't say it out loud, but I said to myself, What the hell she think she is telling me I'm going to read something? I ain't coming here to read nothing, But anyway, I did. I read the promises. And that was the first day out of being in AA for that month that I felt part of any, group. And my brother, he walked me through it. He would call me every day. He said, now, get you a home group. And I told him, I said, man, I don't need no home group. I got a home. He said, no. He said, man, a home group, that ain't what a home group. He said, it make you obligated to a certain group of people. Then he told me, said, get you a sponsor. And I was about 51 years old. I told him, I said, man, I don't need no sponsor. I'm a grown man, dog. He said, no, man. He said, a sponsor is somebody, man, that you communicate with. And, and I have a real good sponsor. I would be remiss if I didn't mention my sponsor. My sponsor is Rick M. And he said, get you a sponsor. I said, man, I don't need nobody telling me what to do. I'm grown. He said, well, you been listening to me? He said, why you can't listen to a sponsor? So I got a sponsor. I got a home group. I started doing work. I started doing everything. And I'm going to say it again. I did not come in here to do no work. I'm telling you. I came in here to watch everybody do. I wanted to get better, though. I wanted to get better because I didn't want to die. And I was at the stage where I didn't want to live and I didn't want to die. But anyway, I got a home group. I started going to meetings. And a family life got a little better. Kind of screwed up now, though, but it ain't cause of the program. It's cause of a lot of other things. But anyway, and I got to feeling real good. Started really feeling good about myself. And I had been in AA about 3 years. And I went to a meeting one night. So I don't need that AA no more. Quit going. Stopped going for 3 years almost. And the whole while I was going, just about the whole while that I've been sober, I never think about like, every now and then I'll think about like drinking, but that's just, I know exactly what to do. But when I came back in here from being gone about 3 years, I was running for my life. I had started thinking about drinking every day, just about every day, because I had associated myself with the people that I was used to seeing, hearing, the talk I used to hear and stuff like that. And you can't do that. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. This life that I have today is the best life I ever had in my whole life. I couldn't imagine that life could be as good as it is today. Really. Now my son that told me he didn't like me, and I'm not up here trying to tell his story, he needs this program himself, but he'll have to do it for himself. I had to do it for myself. I had to make that decision, and he'll have to make it for himself too. Because he has a daughter. He has a daughter now. And maybe she'll tell him something similar to what he told me. Maybe. I don't know. But anyway, I'm just kind of all over the place. But then I'm going to tell y'all something else, too. I started drinking when I was 12 years old. By the time I was 15, my mama wanted to make me a ward of the state. My mama wanted to send me to marching training school. And at that time, it was two ways you could get to marching training school. You can either be, your parents could take you and make you a ward of the state, or you can go through the court system. Because my mama had got tired. By the age of 15, I was staying out all night, hooking school. Occasionally I would steal. And I kept my mama good and embarrassed. And she was at the point, where she had to make a choice because my mama had two children that were sick. My sister that's 2 years older than me, she was a severely asthmatic and she stayed sick all the time. And I have a brother that's 6 years younger than me. He was born with a kidney disease. And so my mama had to make the choice, because for a long time I thought my mama didn't love me. But I thought about this right here. My mama had to make the choice if she was going to put all her attention on worrying about her sick children and not let this fool she had about crazy. Just, wasn't really nothing wrong with me. I was just crazy as hell. And so she didn't, my mama didn't, I could stay out all night. I could come home on Fridays. and put my books down, and leave, and then come back until Saturday afternoon. My mama, she wouldn't ask me where I had been. She wouldn't ask me anything. I don't think it was that she didn't love me, but I think that because between that time and all that time, she would have to take my sister to the emergency room, or my brother might get sick. So she had to kind of like put her attention where it needed. I guess she looked at me and said, well, this fool right here, the only thing wrong with him is probably need a good ass whooping. And she used to do that too. My mama used to do that too. My mama used to beat me about getting drunk. She used to beat me about getting drunk. It's like in a couple of weeks, a month or so ago, you've been hearing about people getting in trouble for child abuse. My mama used to beat me. One day I was downtown drunk at the barber shop. My mama didn't drive. Somebody went and told my mama I was down there drunk. She came down there in a taxi and got me. My mama was kind of a big woman. I was real small. I didn't weigh about 110 pounds when I finished high school. And the best I can remember, my mama, I think she said, I think I can remember her saying, where's that little MF? I think that's what she said. Because my mama cursed. My mama was a cursor. And my mama grabbed me and threw me in the back seat of that car, that taxi cab. And when I got home, my mama almost beat me to death. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I was so sore. Have y'all ever been in a fight, drunk, and wake up the next morning and your head hurt and your back hurt, everything was hurting me? That woman almost killed me. She told me, said, look, you're either going to stop drinking or I'm going to beat you to death. That's when she made the decision. That's when she made the decision where it might have been better for her to just make me a ward of the state, and send me to marching training school. But my mama and my grandmama, they died. My grandmama died in 85, and my mama died in 1991. My mama was the first female to have a heart transplant in Chapel Hill. I can remember as vividly when they brought her, she got the heart from a 28-year-old, my mama was 57 years old, she got the heart from a 28-year-old girl that had been in a car wreck in Wilmington. And when they told us, the family, to go up there, I can remember the first thing I done, I went and got me some liquor. Made sure I had me some liquor. And when the heart came in on the life flight, I can remember the doctor was carrying in a little old igloo like you carry your lunch. And I can remember the surgery was about 10 or 12 hours. And I can remember waking up the next morning. I was the only person in the waiting room, drunk as a skunk, snoring, had done run everybody out of there. I had the whole place by myself. But anyway, stuff like that. Now, today, I don't handle situations like that. Sometimes the worst situation in the world come before me, and I know how to handle them. And I learned that from being around people like you all. Really, I did. I think if I would have never came into AA, it's a whole bunch of good stuff that happened to me. The route I was going, I probably would have messed it up, because like I said, I was one of them people that really didn't need to drink alcohol. I didn't, because I guess some people probably do need to drink, but I didn't. Because I would start a fight, I would curse people, I would say stuff. If you invited me to your house, and you wouldn't want me to come back no more. You weren't gonna let me come back. When you seen you coming, said, "No, you ain't welcome. You gone the other way." And now this is not for everybody. Well, a lot of times, sometimes I go to places where they serve alcohol, but the book says that if we got business at a place, we can go where alcohol is being served. It's our intentions from being there. And I look at people acting real obnoxious and carrying on. I don't say a word, because I say to myself, that used to be me. That used to be me. And it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's a lot of stuff that I can say up here, but one thing I'm going to say is, that son that told me he didn't like me, he has a daughter that's 5 years old, and she's never seen me drink. She's never seen me drunk. I have another granddaughter that's 18 months old. She haven't ever seen me drink. And so what my children can say, my grandchildren can't say, because they've never seen their papa drunk. And that 5-year-old, if she had seen me drunk, she would go and tell her teacher, the preacher, and everybody, because that's how she rolls. She'd come in here and strike up a conversation and say, my papa drinks. That's what she would say. And I'm proud of that. And it's, another thing too, I would say is that if anything that I regret that my mama never did see me sober. My mama died in 1991, and I didn't get sober until 2001. And my mama really wanted me sober because when I got my job on the railroad, it was a saying about people that worked in the department that I worked in, transportation, say, them boys get them jobs on the railroad and just run some crazy. They drink and they mistreat their family, and they do this and they do that, and I did all that. And my mama wanted me. I guess she wanted me sober because she wanted her friends to see her son that he could live without alcohol. And this is something else too. I've been better at doing this than I've ever been at doing anything. A friend, a father, an employer, an employee, a brother, an uncle, anything. I've never been able to do anything as well as I've done being sober. I've never done anything on the level that I've done for 13 years. I haven't had anything to drink. There's a whole bunch of stuff I don't do, but I'm still missing a whole bunch of stuff when it comes to being a friend, a father, brother, and all that. But when it comes to alcohol, I just don't do it. And one reason why I don't do it is because I don't want to die. I don't want to die from this disease. This disease kills people. And to show you for a prime example, when I was 28 years old, a doctor in Moore County, he told me I had got laid off from work on the railroad and I was having headaches. I was having bad headaches. And he told me, said, look, he said, I'm going to do a brain scan on you. He said, but while you're at the hospital, he said, I'm going to run a test on your liver, because he knew that I drank a lot. And the test came back. When the results came, he called me and told me he wanted to come up there. I went up there. He said, look, he said, Sam, he said, your brain scan came back negative. He said, but your liver test, he said, you done started doing damage to your liver. Now, I remind you, I was 28 years old then, and I was 46 when I quit drinking. So I still didn't have enough common sense. I drank for 18 more years after being told that I had started doing damage to my liver. You know, that's the reason why I say that if I wouldn't have quit drinking when I did, I have no idea that I would either be dead or be in bad shape now. You know, and I don't look at people that's still drinking in any kind of way, because it is what it is. It might take more for them to quit than it is for me. But I started seeing a lot of guys I drank with my age and a little older than me dying. You know, I went to a guy's funeral a couple months ago that was 5 years older than me. And what happened to this guy was he went into DT's and he stayed in an apartment for 4 days before they got to him. And by the time they got to him, he had started having seizures, and then he had a stroke, and he died. You know, now I don't know if he would have quit drinking before, if all this wouldn't have happened. I don't know. But I'm just saying, for me, I'm just grateful that it didn't take no more than what it took for me to quit drinking. Like I say, my brother, that's 2 years younger than me, he helped me out a lot. He did. And I would say to anybody that's young, or if you've been in the program a long time, if you got family members that's in this fellowship, listen to them. Listen to them. Because the first thing in my mind came to me when my brother started, because I called him, I started saying, shoot, this joker here younger than me. I ain't going to listen to him. But and then another thing when I thought about too, though, at one time he was in the same shape I was in, or worse. You know. So I didn't have no problem. I didn't have it didn't worry me about him being young. He could have been 14 years old. If he'd have told me what he told me, I would have listened to him. Because I was desperate. I don't know if any of y'all ever been suicidal, but it is not no good way for a human being to be. Scared to live and scared to die. It's not. I used to wake up in the morning and go to the window and figure out how I was going to kill myself. if it would be good for me to go in my garage and just blow my brains out or what. And I just came to the right decision to call my brother and tell him what I was going through, and he was willing to help me, you know. And so I could stay up here, and I don't know if, but I do know this right here, that people that come in this program, they come in here looking to see something and to hear something. Now, if you're new in this program, it's a good possibility that you didn't hear it tonight from me. But I want you to keep coming back, though. If you keep coming back, eventually you will hear it or see it. And thank y'all for listening to me share my story. Thanks.
What?